We're in a world where the ADV market is booming and everyone wants to have an ADV and experience the off-road culture. So guys, welcome to Dathan Days. We are here at the KTM showroom in Makery Circle, and we're here to check out the 2025 KTM 250 Adventure. To give you a little specs about the motorcycle, first let's look at how beautiful this motorcycle looks, because for the past 5 years KTM has been going with the very old design that they've developed 5 years back, and now 5 years later they've brought this new Dakar inspired design. Even when you look at the headlights or the way the body is, it's completely designed the way you would ride in Dakar. So as you see, the entire headlight unit is changed, and they've got this stacking design of the LEDs, which is one projector and the other projector below that, and they've got the DRLs as well. And let me just switch it on to show you. So it's a pretty good looking headlight, and I really like this over the old one. That's like personal choices that people prefer. Some people like the old one, some people like the new one, but I feel this is a blank page, a fresh start for KTM, and I really love the way this headlight looks. And I was there for the unveiling at India Bike Week, and if you want to check out that video, I'll put a link to the video up here. But yeah, you can look at that video and see how they unboxed the bike there. But overall, when I sat on this bike and I took a test ride of it, it felt amazing. The 250 Adventure comes only in this variant. You get two different colors. Firstly, you get it in white and you get it in orange. And the colors that you see here, it is not paint and it is not vinyl. This is some new technology that KTM has used, where the color is basically like a dye that they use while molding the parts. So it is not like paint over the part. The part comes like this itself from factory. Coming to the power figures, this is a 250cc engine, and which produces around 31 horsepower and around 25 newton meters of torque, which is pretty good for our Indian road conditions. And to talk to you about the styling, firstly the chassis. This is a steel trellis frame, and it's the ground clearance on this motorcycle is around 237 mm, which is 37 mm more than the previous bike. And this has pretty good ground clearance as well. Whether you're going off-road or on-road, you have pretty good ground clearance. And the seat height is around 825 mm, which is very good for all ride heights. And to give you an example, let me just hop on the motorcycle. So as you see, it is a pretty comfortable seating, and this comes with a rally style seat where it is one single seat front to back, and it's a pretty good riding position. Your riding triangle is also a very peaceful and a very comfortable riding position. But if you are more than 5'11" in height, it does tend to get a little uneasy because of the higher placement of the foot pegs. But apart from that, it's a pretty good motorcycle to ride, and it's a lovely motorcycle to take off-road, on-road, and enjoy it everywhere. So guys, now to talk to you about the suspension and the wheels. This has got a pretty good suspension. It's got a monoshock at the rear, and it's got the front forks, and the travel is around 200 mm on the front forks and around 220 mm on the rear, which it feels really comfortable on every bump. And the tires are, this is a 19-inch rim and that's a 17-inch rim, and this comes with alloys only when you go for the 390 S, the Adventure S, is when you get the spokes. But all around the Adventure models, that is the 250 and the 390, get tubeless tires. And there are some people in the competition who still get tube tires, but KTM has surpassed them by giving tubeless tires, which is pretty good. Say if you're going on an off-road trail and you have no connection with anyone, you're just going to explore the off-road trails. If you have a tubeless tire, it's even more better, rather than having a tube tire and then get stuck without any network in any jungle or anything. But this KTM has you covered. And this has got pretty good guards as well from factory. This tends to protect the bike a lot, and you get this frame slider with the frame protection as well, which protects the parts here and keeps your engine and your body panels safe. First, let's look at the cockpit. Firstly, it's got a pretty huge windshield, which is non-adjustable. Even the previous bike didn't have an adjustable windshield, but that had a shorter windscreen, while this is a pretty big windscreen, and it does help in off-road as well. But if you're are really off-roading and you're hitting high speeds, this tends to feel a little smaller. And what people are saying who's experienced this bikes in higher rpm and a longer range is that this is, they feel that it can be extended a little more. But overall, I really like the way that this is placed, because it does deflect the wind away from you, and it does have a pretty good stance and pretty good feeling as well. The display on the old bike used to be down here, and they've moved it on top. Again, inspired by the Dakar rally bikes, they've kept it at a higher placement, and the switch gear all remains the same throughout the KTM lineup. So let's switch on the bike and go through the different screens or the menus that come on the infotainment. Let's just switch on the motorcycle. So yeah, this is a basic display, and this is your basic display that you see. And to talk about the different menus, this is a standard menu that it comes with. When you go out in the sun, it turns white, and then when you're in low light, it turns black. And talking about the motorcycle, you have ABS and you have your display mode. So for your ABS, you can either put it in road or off-road, where you disable the rear ABS, which gives a little more fun. And this variant is much more usable for first-time riders, off-road riders, because you get to learn how the off-road trail is with the ABS modes that are there. And to talk to you about the display, the first is you come with the display that I showed you, and the other one is you get a reduced display, which is basically, it's a very clean display. You have a gear number here and your speedometer here and your fuel range, which is very neat. And what I feel is it's very minimalist, and it feels really nice to ride around with this mode as well. Then you also have the info about your bike, which is your trip meter, your fuel range, coolant temps, battery temperature, odometer, your clock, service, and any warnings that the bike has. Apart from that, your different settings is what you come with. You have your quick selector, which the buttons on the handlebar, you can choose what it requires, either up and down, what it requires to do. The connectivity is basically you connect your phone and then you can play music, to pick up calls, everything. You have your shift lights, which basically, rather than having the circular shift light, you can make the display to turn orange when it hits the red line. You have your clock and date units, that is either in kilometers or miles. You can switch on and switch off your quick shifter. Looking at this, yes, this bike comes with a quick shifter as standard throughout the KTM ADV lineup. So switch it off, you use it regular, and switch it on. It's a pretty good motorcycle to ride with the quick shifter. You have extra functions as well, but not sure what extra functions that it holds. But yeah, this is the display on the KTM, which is very informative, and the connectivity is also pretty good on the motorcycle. So guys, this bike comes with around 14.5 liter fuel tank, and the mileage what you get in city is around 30, close to 30. In highways you might get more than 30, maybe 31, 32, which is pretty good to go on an off-road trail everywhere. And honestly, it's an ADV motorcycle, so let's just see when you stand and ride, how does it feel. So yeah, it's got pretty good handlebars. You can stand and take on trails, which is actually useful for off-road trails where you need to stand and take on trails a lot. But it's got pretty good coverage, whether you stand and ride or whether you are sitting. You do have a lot of room to move around on the motorcycle. So guys, this bike comes with an underbelly exhaust, and You might be thinking it's an adventure motorcycle. Why do we have an underbody, underbelly exhaust? That's because KTM has tested this bike, basically done a lot of water wading testing with this motorcycle, and they have come to a conclusion and they have given the confirmation that this bike can go onto it can go into pretty good waters, cross rivers, and it doesn't clog up the exhaust. You can still, what people say in KTM is that you can switch it off in the water and then switch it on, and then the bike still starts. What they've proven is that even if you go with water height up to around here, you still can ride the bike in water. So that's one good thing about the exhaust. And as we're talking about the exhaust, let's just listen to how the motorcycle sounds. So guys, now to talk to you about the pricing. This bike comes at around 2,60,000 ex showroom, and the price differs from every state that you're there in India. And yeah, this comes in two different variants, as I told you, and this doesn't come with adjustable suspension, but it's a pretty good bike to start your off-roading career or your off-roading passion with. So hope you'll enjoy the video. Stay tuned. See you in the next one.